with your thoughts on the full weekend.
I mean, it's good, right? We win the series, first A10 weekend of the year, so it's always kind of tough to lose on Sundays because you just makes you sort of give like a little bitter taste at the end of the weekend. But you know, when it's all said and done, we won 2 out of 3, so it's good.
Can you talk about how it wasn't just one guy that did the scoring, did the hitting? Like, talk about how each guy came up and made an impact all weekend.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think Nick Lorenzo is probably kind of case in point with that, right? That's sort of proof of concept. I mean, I think he pinch ran. He came in for, I think he had 1 at bat on the season against UVA just the other night. And then he comes in and gets, the base hit, gets the sac fly that wins it for us from the pitching staff all the way through basically every healthy bat that we have in the lineup. They all contributed in some way, shape, or form.
With yesterday's game, the comeback that your team had, how is that possible? Like, how do you keep up the energy throughout to make sure that a comeback is even possible?
When I think it was important that we scored right after they had their big inning, right? I think they put up like a 7 spot or something to go up 16-2 or whatever it was, and then I think we scored 3 in the bottom half of that, and I think that was kind of important because it didn't necessarily like keep us in the game at that point, but it kind of creates a little bit of momentum. And then I think once it started to roll and we started getting guys on base and traffic and we're scoring some runs, I think at that point the energy piece is pretty easy to keep up because it just kind of perpetuates itself a little bit.
Oh, and Aaron Whitley, I know yesterday's game, he had the 2 home runs that kind of started your scoring off. Can you talk about like his impact and how that made it easier to?
But I think that our lineup has missed Aaron tremendously throughout the year, right? He's been dealing with a little hamstring issue, which hopefully, knock on wood, is behind him. But I think having him at the top of the order and what he brings to our team in terms of his athleticism and what his ability to defend. I mean, he's an elite defender in center field. And the offense, obviously, the 2 home runs, and when he gets on bases, he's like a one-man wrecking crew out there. So I think having him back and hopefully having him healthy for the remainder of the season is a really big deal for us.
One more. First weekend of the A10, seeing the George Mason, but what do you expect with the squad for the rest of the A10 season?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's just, for us, we're young from a experiential standpoint, even though we might be a little bit older biologically speaking. But I think I think the goal for us is to try to be the best version of the Richmond Spiders that we can be, right? And if we can do that, I feel pretty good about where we'll land in the A10, but that's a little easier said than done, right? I think for our guys, it's just sort of following the process and trying to be the very best that we can be.